So last night I was up late because I wound up taking a nap in the middle of the day after doing the meal prep with all of this, goodness, right? Got tired. And I was on Tubi. I watched two movies. I watched Hanging with the Homies with John Leguizamo, Davy Dave, and the two other dudes. I can't remember their names. And basically showing the dynamics of a relationship of a group of fans, right? And seeing how they bond and connect with each other. What's up, Zoe? And basically they go out for a night. It's the different dynamics. They all got their personality traits and their flaws or whatever, right? John Leguizamo, though, I want to talk about him. He was a love-struck character. He was in love with this girl who used to come into his grocery store that he worked at, right? And he was in love with a girl that he never really had a date with, a conversation with. He never interacted with her in person, right? He only fantasized about her in his head. And he said hello to her. Maybe he asked her to hang out or whatever, right? Got to go back and pay attention to it. So he said hello to her, whatever, right? And he has his down things about him, whatever. So he created this whole idea about, this is what he said multiple times in the movie when he was talking about this girl to his partners. He was like, she's just the perfect girl. She's virginal. She's perfect. This, that, and the third, right? So then, in the night while they're outside, they go to a peep show. You don't know what a peep show is? Look it up. But they go to a peep show, and he sees the girl doing some non-virginal things, and it breaks his heart. It breaks his heart because of the idea he said in his head about the girl. In his head, this girl was just the perfect angel. She's virginal, which he kept saying multiple times, which was funny to me because I'm like, what does that really mean? And why is that something you're concerned with? But anyway, so he sees her. Sees her in these acts, these non-virginal acts, right? With the girl, he sees her in the little video shop, right? At the peep show. So it breaks his heart or whatever, and he's upset about it or whatever, right? But it's funny to me because it's like, you don't know this woman. You conceived an idea about this woman. And then you're upset because she's not what you made up in your head about her. Which is unfair to her because, one, you haven't had any real conversation. You don't know her, right? She might have told you. It's not like she was hiding something from him. She doesn't even know this dude, right? Seeing him. He's basically a stranger. He's the cashier at the store that she shops at, right? But he made up this idea about this girl because he never got to get to know her. He created a fantasy in his head about who this woman was. And when that fantasy was broken, he was upset about it. And it's kind of strange to me. It's not strange to me because I've done that before. When I was a youngin', before getting my heart broken in different ways and just growing up and just experiencing life and understanding that I don't know these people. These are strangers. I haven't gotten to know them, right? You can create a fantasy in your head that's really going to ruin what that person is to you. So, I say this to say, you have to grow to a point in life when you're outside dating and getting to know people and experiencing the world that you don't put your expectations on them from what you perceive them to be. You don't put your expectations on that person. That way, you can't hurt your own feelings because his biggest issue was his expectations caused the problem for him. Well, we've all been there. Have you ever saw a girl and you had all these ideas about her and you was just thinking that this was the perfect girl, the one of your dreams? And you haven't even, you can picture yourself kicking cans and holding hands, thinking about this woman when you don't even know her name, what she's interested in, her beliefs about anything. That's problematic. And it's a little insane. It's a little insane to put your ideas. I think that you can find somebody infatuating. You can find somebody attractive, 100%. But to look at somebody and to believe that you know them and you create a whole fantasy in your head, that is insanity. You should never do that. You should do your best not to do that. It's one thing to be infatuated and find somebody attractive, but to create a storyline in your head about a person that you do not know is only setting yourself up for failure, because nobody can live up to the expectations you have in your head besides what you write on a piece of paper yourself. Everything that you create in your head, it's not for everybody to live up to, and you got to give people grace for that. So that was my little tidbit about hanging with the homies, right? That movie. Another film I was watching was Freedom Writers. Freedom Writers is this movie where this teacher goes into the impoverished school system in Long Beach, California, and she finds a way to break through the downtrodden hood recipient children who are angry and frustrated, and they're all in gangs and this, that, and the third. Just, dangerous minds, whatever, right? Mario's in it, right? So she takes time to get to know these kids, and she gets them interested in reading and education and stuff like that. Beautiful, right? Beautiful concept movie, story, supposed to be based on real life, right? So while doing this, basically, I took from the movie, it's because there was also a story about this girl a plot story in the movie about this girl named Ava, who saw her friend shoot somebody, and then being a part of that gang, she wanted to make sure that she protected her friend who committed a crime while basically framing an innocent person, innocent black boy, and protecting her friend, right? So it gets to a point in the movie where the girl Ava, after all the class comes together, because she's classmates with one of the girls whose friend got killed, right? So they all come together and they become a community and harmonize, and they all become friends, right? That's what happens in the movie. So it gets to a point where she's sitting on trial and she says, okay, he didn't do it. My friend Paco did it. He's the one who committed the crime, right? And so the gang kicks her out or whatever, right? Which is better than killing her, right? Because of the politics, whatever, right? So it was basically, the plot story was, leave behind your group and your peers and your friend group and come together as one, as a nation, right? And let's all build together and have a community, right? Which is a great concept and idea. I do think so myself. It's great, right? But what I also noticed is that the teacher herself had a similar thing that she had to deal with, because every teacher and everybody in her life was basically talking down about these kids. And another way to say it, they were white supremacists. Her supervisor was a white supremacist, her boyfriend, her father. They were all basically telling them that these kids are a lost cause and you shouldn't be focusing on these children. They're not important enough. Why are you putting so much energy in teaching these bad kids? I'm talking about the film Freedom Riders, right? And I have this thought where I've been thinking, like, okay, I don't think everybody who is white is a white person is a suspected white supremacist. You have to show that, right? But what I do want to know is, white people who are anti-racist and not on that whole white supremacy thing, what is it like navigating the world and dealing with your friends and compadres and family members who are racist? And how do you combat that, especially when you're trying to do good in the world and you want to have community with other people? What are the ways that you deal with and handle white supremacy as a white person? And how do you combat that? Besides just ignoring it, why don't you do things like out these people? Because they showed the girl Ava outing her friend. She outed her friend, not her best friend, but one of her friends who committed a murder to protect somebody else. Is there an issue in the white community about outing each other for about being racist? And if so, what are some ways that you guys can show, not necessarily loyalty, but show that you're not for the white supremacy thing, that you believe that everybody's equal and you actually want to be a communal person? Because I know when you try to do right and not be harmful to people, you deal with a bunch of drama yourself or the people internally who you deal with. So what are some ways that white people who have racist people around them, how do y'all combat that? Do y'all ever step up and say something like, hey, that's wrong, you shouldn't think like that? And when you step up and deal with that and you talk to your parents or anybody in your family, your friends group about that, how do you deal with the pushback of being said, of basically going against the program of racism and white supremacy. What are some ways that you can do that? Let's think about that. What are your thoughts? Chicken's really good, by the way. What y'all having for lunch? Because I don't know if y'all noticed, but the collective of races have gotten together and decided that Texas Roadhouse, Texas Roadhouse and other restaurant workers are going to start doing, probably been doing, are going to start basically spitting in people's food, which I believe that they've been doing a long time ago. It just got outed recently. And it makes me believe that maybe it's time to just start cooking your own food and getting like Chuck Berry. I'm not doing business. I'm not eating at these places. I don't trust it. And I remember we had this thing called the Green Book back in the day where people would come out and they would list safe places for Black people to go and eat and lay their head and stuff like that in the Jim Crow South. But as we see, the only thing that's changed is the time. There's still a lot of racists going on, a lot of racist people out here, right? And they move covertly, so they'll smile in your face and spit in your food or poison your food. You go to these places where people have these ideologies about you, not even knowing you. They just believe things about you because color of your skin, which is wild, right? Not having a real understanding of you or the type of person you are, your beliefs, nothing like that. Creating a fantasy in your head about a person that you do not know, but your preconceived notions about those people, right? So it makes you act away and do certain things to people, right? Like spitting in their food, which is wild, bud. And it's probably worse stuff. That's probably just what they mentioned. That's probably just the bare minimum of what they do to people's stuff. So it makes me think that maybe, and I also saw this other video. I'll get back to that. I also saw this other video where this Black lady was at a Churchy's Chicken, right? And she was trying to get some honey and they wouldn't give her honey. So one girl went underneath the counter and pulled the honey off there underneath the counter. And she was upset, like, wow, y'all being racist. Y'all don't even want to give me some honey. She should have gave her food back. She should have literally just been like, no, you can have this food. Let me get my money back. Because if they don't want to service you and give you even some honey, the simplest thing that they have for free there, chances are they were tampering with your food just as well. So it's not just Texas Roadhouse. It's a lot of different places, right? So what I would say, and then we seen the stuff with, I saw another video of an Asian dude spitting in the food while he was cooking the food in the wok. And I'm just like, maybe it's time for Black people to not be eating at other people's establishments at this current time. Maybe it's better for you to just cook and prep your own food and carry your own food with you everywhere you go. Pack a sandwich, because getting out here right now is dangerous. People are literally trying to harm you and do negative things to you just because you got a little bit of melanin. They don't know you. They've created ideas about you. So maybe it's time that you only spend your money with your people or people that you trust and just focus on cultivating your own community because it's getting dangerous out here. Like, what do y'all think about that? Like, there's no safe ways to go out and eat. There's no places that you can go to really do business. The people want your money, but they don't want you to be there. Why would you go out and spend your money with those people? Protect your dollars, right? Personally, I've never been to Texas Roadhouse, even though my lady tells me all the time, no, we've been to Texas. That wasn't me. That was that other nigga. Wasn't me. It wasn't me. Because I will remember that. Because I specifically remember everybody telling me about the rolls there, and I was like, I've never been to Texas Roadhouse. So if it happened, I forgot about it, or maybe it was in an alternate universe. I'm not sure. I'm curious about y'all opinions on this whole thing with this Texas Roadhouse stuff, and you think that that's just the only location? Because I don't think nowhere is safe. I don't think fast food, any type of restaurant is really a safe place to go eat at this time for Black people. Chinese food, Latin food, I don't think you should be eating anywhere that isn't your cultural food right now because you can't trust these people. And it's not to say that everybody's bad because that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there are bad people in the bunch that you can't trust. And maybe it's better for you to do your own thing. What y'all think? I'll end here, say something. I feel like I'm talking to a wall. Welcome to the Chin Hat. Because being a big dude myself, my mom always told me, son, this is when she's serious. She's like, son, this is when she tries to be passionate and really get me to pay attention. Son, listen to me. I worked in these restaurants before. With you being a big man, you have to pay a lot of attention to the food that you eat, because people will give you anything because you are a big man. You being big, they will think that you would just eat anything and they will give you anything. And that's stuck with me. It's funny because I pay attention to it because I won't eat at a lot of places anymore. And then I remember this one time I was at Taco Bell back when they had Doritos Locos Tacos, right? This is when I saw it. I saw it in front of me, right? I was at Taco Bell back when they first did Doritos Locos Tacos, right? They were making my tacos, right? And they dropped one on the floor. Right? And I seen it hit the floor. I didn't know if it was mine or not, but I saw tomatoes on the floor, whatever, right? That person picked the taco up, and I don't know if they wrapped it up and made it mine, but when I got in the car and I was leaving, and I opened up the tacos, I saw one taco that didn't have any tomatoes. And I was like, these motherfuckers picked up the taco off the floor, which was in a little paper, and wrapped it up and still gave it to me. And I was like, first of all, I threw it out the window, right? I should have pulled a move like she would do, because my mom, she was cold-blooded. She'll walk in there and she'll smack them taco in their face. She'll literally take the taco, put it in her hand, and bitch slap them across the face with the taco in her hand. I just threw it out the window. I never went back. And that's kind of one of the reasons I don't eat Taco Bell now. So I say these things like, people don't care. And when people have hatred, like I don't think this was necessarily hatred, but people don't care. So negligence happens because you cannot expect somebody who hates their job to be great at their job, right? Doesn't make sense. If I don't want to be here and I'm just doing this to get money, I'm not putting my passion into it. I don't care about this. I don't care about you. It's not important to you. It's not important that you have good food, that what you have, that I took my time and I cared about. No, I'm just trying to get these food out as fast as possible. There's a lot of people out here who don't actually care about what they're doing. So add that on top of people who actually do not like you and dislike you and feel like, one, you're not going to tip because they say black people are poor tippers or whatever, right? Add that on top of people being negligent and not really caring about what they're doing. Add hatred on top of it and a fantasy in their minds of them not thinking that you're a good person or you're not worthy of respect and the things that you deserve as a normal human being. It's probably best for you to just make your food at home, eat your meal prep. It's going to be healthier for you too, because they cook with all types of nonsense and BS, right? Shout out to TikTok Shop for all the seasonings. You know, I get my seasonings from TikTok Shop. It's probably best for you to cook your own food, eat with your friends and family, the people that you trust, and go to restaurants where you really trust the people and you have a relationship with the people, because it ain't safe out here. It's not safe for you. And it ain't just Texas Roadhouse. It ain't just Taco Bell. It's all types of locations out here. Just everybody has their preconceived notions about you. And I'm not going to say it's just white supremacy, because I call it anti-black racism. There are a lot of people who are just anti-black and they don't understand why, because they bought into the principles of white supremacy. That's what happens a lot. So that's my little diatribe. That's my little tangent. You know, I have something else I want to say about the Miss Parker. Sorry, I couldn't help but stem that. Welcome to the chat. Yeah, pack your food. Don't be eating at these restaurants. Don't be staying nowhere where you're not welcome. And it's better. This is way healthier. This is way better for you than anywhere else you can go. You might as well. It ain't nothing wrong with making a sandwich. We got to go back to the basics. I remember one time I used to kick it with my friends back when I ain't had no money, and they would be buying Wingstop and this, that, and third. Boy, I would pack me a sandwich. I would go to the grocery store. Before I'm going out, I would give me some bread, some chips, my lunch meat, some cheese, whatever. Make my sandwich. I'd have it in my backpack, and we go out. When they eating their Wingstop, I'm pulling out my sandwich. It got to a point where my partners was paying me for sandwiches because they would rather have a sandwich than go to the Wingstop, whatever. So packing a lunch is not something crazy to do when you're hanging out with your friends. Like if you're going out to dinner with people, you know, I understand that that's culturally, as we get older, there's not much to do besides go eat and have food or whatever. Like, that's our entertainment. But it's time to shift to something else, some other form of entertainment, because the only way we entertain each other and ourselves is be eating food. And let's cook at home then. Let's get back to barbecuing and having picnics and stuff like that. Go to the grocery store. But these restaurants ain't not it. It's just not the way to go right now. So that's my little thing. I'm not going to talk about I'm probably going to do another show later on tonight. Hopefully they didn't come in. The siblings didn't come in, whatever. It is what it is. They have their schedules. I ain't tripping. But if we do get on tonight or later on this week, I really want to talk to y'all about the owner of the San Francisco football team. Because he said it ain't tricking if you got it, but he didn't spend a lot. I tell you, $140 is craziness. All the money in the world, and the owner of the San Francisco football team gets caught trying to purchase things for $140. Insanity. Anyway, it's great having lunchtime with y'all. Welcome to Pot Liquor Podcast. I appreciate y'all tuning in, and I will be catching y'all on the other side. Peace out.